you a timeline for that. What I can say is the work began when we opposed, and it will continue in earnest until said language is fixed and that solvency is protected and local control maintained. So we won't rest until it's done. But to give you a date, it would be irresponsible.
How do you feel about the budget proposal as a whole?
You know, having served as a superintendent most of my years during the recession, it looks a lot better than when I was a superintendent. And while that's a positive thing, I mean, we can't be too critical, right? It's more money than we had last year. That's growth, and that's good. But we can't get too excited because we can't lull ourselves into a sense of, hey, we've arrived. We haven't. Until our students are valued like students in other states, until we're funded such that we can fulfill our obligation to students, until we have adequate funding, we can't be overly enthusiastic. We're glad that the economy's better. We're glad that this governor prioritizes education. Don't get me wrong. But students in California deserve more. We need an adequate funding system that fully funds our obligation to provide the students the resources they need to realize their dreams. And we just don't have that right now. And quite honestly, we're not even close. So it's good news. It's better than it was when I was a superintendent, but we're not there yet. So we're happy, but we're not content. And I think that's the message.
Address the issue of educator effectiveness and evaluation?
Yeah, this is something that's very, very passionate for me. I'm very passionate about it. It's always been a focus of mine. We know that our job in education is twofold. We're to protect our students, physically, emotionally, academically, and we're there to help them learn. In fact, scratch that. We're here to make sure they learn, to ensure they're learning at grade level and beyond. And educator effectiveness, that's what helps the kids learn. That's what keeps them safe. We've got to do more work in that regard. We've got to be looking at systems that assure that when educators are not effective, when they are not keeping kids safe, when they are not helping kids learn, that we help them. Now, I believe that a big part of the problem with educator effectiveness is related to one of your earlier questions. We're underfunded. Teachers do not have the resources they need to properly and effectively educate our students in many instances. So it begins with funding, adequate funding. Let's give our teachers and our support staffs every resource they need to educate our students. We also need to train them because that's one of the resources. We also need to train our administrators and make sure that they are highly skilled evaluators, that when they go into a classroom, they can identify student learning, they can identify engagement, they can look for equity in every classroom and ensure that it exists. So we have to train our leaders. We have to have support networks for our educators. If they're not meeting the mark and they want to meet the mark, then we support them. We help them become the effective educators they want to be. But if, and I think this is a very, very small number, if with support and with interventions, our educators are not effective, they need to do something else. Our kids deserve nothing short of effective educators in every classroom, in every central office, in every district office, and I would say in every county office. And so I think educator effectiveness is the issue of the day. If we had effective educators in all of those places I just mentioned, you'd see a difference in achievement, you'd see a difference in engagement, you'd see a difference in graduation rates for all students, and not just the students who traditionally graduate. You'd see fewer students being expelled, fewer students being suspended. So ultimately, you'd see more students going to college, being employed, and not going to prison. So that's why I'm passionate about educator effectiveness. And I believe that educators around the state are as excited about the opportunity we have now as I am. And it's going to take collective effort. And again, when we say educator effectiveness, we're not bashing any one group. Educator is educator. We all need to be effective. All right, no more questions. Thank you, and most importantly, thank you for the work you do every day to protect the interests of those 6.2 million students that, as I've said many times, need us more now than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.